Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in.
Hello, it's Philly here today on the podcast. I have got the most beautiful podcast episode for your lovely ears today. We have another client coming on the show, the wonderful Emily, to share her Ending Body Burnout Method journey so far. She's actually only 3 months into our 6-month Healing Accelerator program. So it's really cool that she was keen to jump on to share her journey so far and also the incredible transformations that she has had so far. And I'm so excited to see where she goes over the next 3 months and even like projecting into a year into the future. This woman is amazing. So she struggled with, when she reached out to us, she was recovering from long haul COVID. And she had a bad case. She had severe chronic fatigue to the point where she had to be carried from work and put into a taxi and carried into the home. Her fatigue got so bad that even brushing her hair, putting her makeup on, doing those daily tasks were too much. And she basically got to the point where she was just sleeping hours and hours and hours in the day and feeling very stuck. So I won't give too much away. She goes a lot more into her journey. Even before she met Chris and I and joined our Ending Body Burnout Method, she was on a very long journey trying to solve this long haul COVID issue. Alongside severe chronic fatigue, she was also getting horrible headaches, so bad, they were migraines, POTS, so feeling really dizzy. And she will also share how she had been struggling for a really long time with perfectionism patterns and can now in hindsight see, even from a very young age, getting stuck in burnout patterns of go, do all the things, and then kind of crashing. And so this is a big part of her story and also why she developed long haul COVID. So I'm so excited for you to listen to this story, especially for any of those struggling with fatigue, energy issues, feeling really stuck. You'll find that Emily had tried so many things. She'd seen different naturopaths, clinical nutritionists. She'd done some courses around rewiring the brain. And while all the things that she did, little things improved over time, her ceiling of being able to get well she kept hitting a ceiling until she really looked into the deepest root cause, which we thoroughly work with our clients to look at the deepest root cause in our Ending Body Burnout Method. And essentially, it is all about really looking into the deepest parts of you, into the unconscious mind, which a lot of us don't even know how to look into that part of our mind, which seems very mysterious, but it's actually not. And Emily shares how she got to her deepest root cause, unconscious belief that was causing a lot of dysfunction in her life and was literally blocking her ability to fully heal. And so I'm so excited for her to share this story with you. And if you really resonate with our deep, holistic, no Band-Aid, no management approach to ending your body burnout, our doors open this month on the 20th of May. So I'll pop in the show note links. You can pop your name on the wait list. And if you're on the wait list, you get access to the program a tad earlier. The benefit of that is that we only have a limited amount of spots for new clients. And so doors are open for 8 days, but if we fill those spots up within the first 24 hours or 2 hours, doors will close straight away, because our program isn't just a course. We provide a lot of one-on-one support, and Chris and I do not want to burn out, and we want to give you the best service and give our guidance and our support wholeheartedly. So we have very strong boundaries around how many people we work with. Also, if you're on the wait list, you will get access to the early bird bonuses to the value of over $500. And we've really strategically chosen those early bird bonuses to help you in the journey and to help you with your umming and ahhing around, oh, can I do this? Is this going to work for me? So I'll share what those bonuses are. So you'll first of all get a $100 gift voucher to spend on lab testing or supplements, because who doesn't like to save a little bit of money? You will also get a one-on-one 60-minute breakthrough session, which is specifically designed to break through self-doubt. So you can use that at the start of your journey if you're like, oh, I'm nervous. I don't know if I can do this. Can I get the results? Can I do the work? Or you might want to hold on to that until halfway through, whenever it is that you feel like you need to break through self-doubt to get the results in our program. And then there'll also be 2 intimate group coaching sessions. And I call them intimate because only the early birders will receive those. And one is all around how to carve out time in your busy schedule so that you can heal, because that is often a reason why people say, oh no, I can't do the program. I don't have enough time. Oh, just I don't know. I just want to do some tests and I want to take some supplements, but I don't have time to like work on root causes. That is just a strategy that you're using to sabotage yourself to actually really heal and find your spark. So we've included a session specifically around healing your time and your calendar. And then the last one is it's going to be a halfway get unstuck intimate group session. And so we'll plug that one in halfway into your 6-month program, which is really cool because a lot of the times when people start a new healing protocol, a new program, it's all shiny and new and like, yay, usually pretty motivated. Maybe there's like self-doubt and stuff happening there too. But we do not want our clients to kind of like peter off and not get results. And so we have putting that one halfway through to help you get unstuck, to help keep that momentum and the healing momentum going. And yeah, so exciting. I'm really excited about these early bird bonuses. I really think they're going to help you get even better results than if you joined the program without them. And finally, before we jump into today's episode, during launch week, which also coincides with Natural Medicine Week, and I am an ambassador for the Australian Traditional Medicine Society Natural Medicine Week. I love it, have been for the last few years. So as part of Natural Medicine Week and our launch week for the doors being open to Ending Body Burnout Method, we have got like 5 free or low ticket events. So tonight, actually, when is this one coming out? No, if you're listening to this, you have missed the Communicating with Symptoms workshop. So don't worry about that one. That one was Monday night. On the 21st, 22nd and 24th of May, we are holding a 3-day live coaching event called Stress, Burnout and Why Your Gut Protocol Isn't Working. So if you're someone who has tried all the things, this might be for gut symptoms. It also might be for energy, mood, or other inflammatory autoimmunity type symptoms. This event is for you. We're going to go into the missing pieces that you have not likely addressed yet. And it is going to be mind-blowing, and it's going to be really practical. And Chris and I don't love just sitting there in our webinars just talking to you. We like to get into the nitty-gritty with you and actually coach you. So you can jump onto that. I'll put the link underneath the show notes, and you can join this 3-day coaching for free. And also on the 27th of May, we have another webinar called The 3 Steps to End Your Body Burnout, where we will take you through the steps that you need to take to end your body burnout. And again, there will be coaching, there will be some really practical things that you can take away from that as well. And as you're listening to Emily's story, she shares how our program is different. So you will hear that she has done so much stuff already before she met Chris and I and joined our program. And so the things that she talks about and the missing pieces are essentially the things that we're going to share with you in these free live events in May. So would be really excited to have you on there. If you can't make it live, you can watch the recording. However, we are going to have giveaway prizes and lots of fun things happening for those who attend live. All right, over to today's podcast episode. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited for this podcast episode today with one of our gorgeous, amazing, and really inspirational clients, Emily. I know that I don't just think that. Chris and I have had lots of conversations about this amazing woman. It's like, oh my gosh, she is just phenomenal in the way that she wholeheartedly throws herself into the healing process. Also part of our Ending Body Burnout Method, we have group coaching calls, and I know that a lot of clients gain so much value with the insights that Emily shares, and also like the results she is just getting, I would probably say, every day. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me, Thirty. I'm very, very happy to be here and very grateful that I get to share my story, because I know that so many other people's stories are what have helped me so much on my journey. And yeah, I'm just grateful that I'm in a position to give back and to let people know that they need to just hold on to hope that you can heal.
Yes. That's actually one of the main reasons why we ask clients to come on to share their stories, because you hear me say it all the time in the program, but evidence collecting is so important, because sometimes, especially if you're at the start of your health journey, or maybe you're very well into it, it's like, oh, I feel like it's stuck. I feel like I'm broken. I feel like things aren't changing. It's really important to be able to find evidence that people, one, do get stuck, but also that you can heal, and that it's totally possible. Everyone has it within them to be able to heal themselves.
Yeah, our bodies are amazing.
Yeah. So amazing. Okay. So you already had been on quite the healing journey before you started working with us. Can you take us back to the start?
Yes.
So when your body started showing signs of symptoms, what that looked like, what life looked like, and then also what you had been trying so far.
Yeah, sure. So I guess what really led me to working with you guys was in 2022, I had my second COVID infection. So I'd already had COVID once before. And before I had COVID, I had, fully vaccinated, very healthy. I'm in my early 30s. Been working out with a personal trainer for years. Myself have also studied, I've done 3 years of clinical nutrition to, very much in the health space, eat whole food diets, all of the meditation, everything. So very healthy. But yeah, I got the second COVID infection. And I rested and did all the things. But then I just wasn't right, just wasn't getting better. I had this really, really bad fatigue, where I'd get maybe 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours into my day, and my body just felt so heavy. I couldn't hold my head up. I felt just so sick. Like I'd get to the office, I'd get to work, and I just didn't feel well and try to push through. And yeah, I just got to a point where I just like physically, like if I didn't leave and get home, I would have had to lie down on the floor and someone would have had to carry me into like a taxi and then carry me out of a taxi upstairs to get home, because that's how bad the fatigue was. And with the fatigue were also these crazy headaches, just like these the worst headache. It's more like a migraine that I've ever experienced in my life. So that was happening after this COVID infection, and I was like, oh my goodness, something's not right. It's fine, my body will work it out. So I just kind of carried on, worked from home a bit because I couldn't go into the office and work. And yeah, then I did this for 2 weeks and it wasn't getting any better. And I was just sleeping, like I was sleeping at midday and just sleeping for hours. Like I just went to bed and 5 hours could go by and I'd wake up for dinner. And yeah, so I went to see a doctor, and they said, okay, well, sounds like you've got post-COVID like fatigue, and you need to rest. So we recommend that you work from home if you can. Here's a letter. And we'll do some blood tests. We'll do sometimes these viral infections, he said, can cause like autoimmune responses in the body. So anyway, blood tests all came back normal, as they do.
But I don't feel normal.
Yeah, blood tests were normal. And he said, just rest. And he also said to me, fatigue like this is normally caused by some sort of mental situation. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But, that's not the situation. Well, he kind of brushed it off and was like, you'll be fine.
Do you mean like he was suggesting that you had depression or something?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go see a psychologist or have an antidepressant. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, no, I was perfect. I'm so good before this, Yeah. And then it just got worse. It just got worse and worse and worse. And I guess this was me not listening to my body. I just assumed like any other cold or flu, I would eventually feel better and things would come right. But it didn't. It just got worse and worse. And talk about breaking rapport with myself. I literally would like get to halfway through the day and be like, no, what the hell? Like, absolutely not. Everyone else in the office, because we all kind of someone got COVID and then a whole group of us all got COVID at the same time in the office. Everyone else is back to work and fine. One girl's, she's got a cough and whatever, but like she's fine. And
I should be fine too. I should be able to do this.
I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm just going to have a Nurofen and a cup of tea. And like, that'll sort out the pain. The caffeine and the sugar in the tea will give me a little bit of perk up, and I can get through the rest of the day. So I remember the day I like pushed. I was there in the lunchroom having my lunch, feeling like absolute death. And I just, after I'd eaten, I was just like, I said to my manager, I was like, I have to go home. I was like, I am not well. Anyway, so then eventually went to see the next doctor, a different doctor, my normal private doctor that I used to see. And she said, look, it sounds like you've got long COVID. And I didn't know what that was. I kind of heard about it in the news. But I was like, no way. It's like, I can't have that.
I'm healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I just kept trying to work and balance it with resting, but I just got worse and worse and worse. And then they can only diagnose you with long COVID if you've had the symptoms for 12 weeks or longer. And then they can refer you they have these long COVID clinics at the hospitals that are set up. And they didn't really know much about it. So that was kind of a process. They do all of these blood tests to test for they do chest x-rays. I had to see a cardiologist. I had to go to a respiratory specialist, get my lungs tested. they do all of these blood tests. I think one of the ones they check like your zinc, and they check for Epstein-Barr, I think they test for that as well. Yeah, they just basically want to make sure there's nothing else going on. They do some more autoimmune tests as well for antibodies, thyroid, everything, but everything came back normal. So on a blood test, everything was fine, but here's me, unable to get out of bed, unable to shower, unable to make myself food. Like, yeah, so something, but all of the tests were normal.
Okay.
But before the long COVID happened, just to, I guess, share a little bit of a brief
Can I
health.
just ask a
Yeah.
real quick question? So you went to this long haul COVID clinic, all the tests were normal. So then were they like, just rest? Did they have any solution for you? Besides just, it just sounds like the clinic was like, let's rule out anything else. Oh, you don't have it. Okay. Oh, you don't have anything else. It's long haul COVID. So good luck.
So what happened was, in order for me to get referred to the long COVID clinic, my doctor, my GP had to do all these tests. Like they required all of these tests to be submitted along with the referral. So, and then when I got so that was beginning of 2023 in Jan. And my long COVID appointment at the clinic was only going to be in April 2024.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so over a year, because that's how
Whoa.
long the waiting list was, because there were so many people with long COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So the GPs were kind of just like, we've done our blood tests, we're referring you on to the next, like, we're basically just like kicking the can down the road. Like, and we'll write your referral to go to the cardiologist, because I couldn't be upright, basically. So it's like postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, where you like, if you are upright, your heart just like it was getting these palpitations every time I stood up. I was dizzy, like my blood pressure was all over the place.
Yeah.
So they referred me. They've done all the blood tests, but everything looks normal to them. And we've referred you, and you're going to have to wait more than a year for your appointment.
Gotcha.
And then you need to go see a respiratory specialist and a cardiologist, both of who I had to wait 6 months before I could get in to have these appointments. So I was basically just, they had to book me off work. I had to stop working. And I basically was just in bed for months, where I could only be out of bed. Like, I was in bed basically 16 hours a day. Other than getting up to like eat and go back to bed. And even eating, like, you don't realize how much energy it takes to digest food, because you're just not hungry either. Like, it affects everything. But before, so there was nothing that they could do, basically. And I wasn't in a position to help myself in any other way. With like, I tried to research online and tried to look for stories and tried to understand what I could do. I did 3 months of acupuncture. I was so desperate. Like, I'm not a fan of needles, and I did 3 months of acupuncture weekly to try and help, and took, herbs. I saw a clinical nutritionist, one of my lecturers, and she prescribed a whole lot of things to support my immune system and my body. I saw a naturopath, and for months and months and months was taking all sorts of supplements, mineral supplements and magnesium supplements and vitamin activated Bs, and all of the herbal tinctures that were made, to support my body. And they helped a little bit. Like, I think they kind of helped me feel a little bit better, but nothing like nothing was really working. And then a friend of mine gave me this book called The Gupta Program. And I had never heard of this before, but she had issues with IBS, and had done this Gupta program. So I went through this book. It literally would take me an entire week to read one page of this book, because with the long COVID symptoms, I just didn't have the energy. Reading was so hard. Like, I couldn't read or watch TV. I couldn't do anything, couldn't have a conversation. I basically was just like noise cancelling headphones and lying down, no stimulation. Just, it was, it's not something that I would wish on my worst enemy. but yeah, so I started slowly making my way through the Gupta program. And it was this guy who basically had post-viral fatigue, which they call chronic fatigue syndrome. And he shared his story, and he shared basically how patterns of things like perfectionism and people pleasing, people who end up with post-viral syndromes like this tend to have a certain personality type. And that was quite confronting for me, because you don't want to feel like this is your fault. And it's not your fault. I think you have to understand that it's not your fault. But yeah, so I did this Gupta program that is supposedly supposed to help you retrain the brain and the neural pathways in your brain. And yeah, so I did that, but it was unassisted. It was like me reading this book and doing that, and resting and everything else. So slowly things started to improve over the months. And then I had watched a recovery story on YouTube. So there's a lady called Raylan Agel, and she had chronic fatigue. She dealt with it for 10 years, and then she said that when she promised the universe that when she got out of this, she would share her story with the world. And she's done lots of interviews, and there's so many interviews of people who've recovered from long COVID now, whose stories are identical to mine. And one of them had said, someone had commented and said, oh, this sounds like the lightning process. She used this thing called the lightning process. So I was like, great, let's Google what is that about? Found the lightning process, found a practitioner in Australia who had basically, she had suffered from post-viral fatigue herself, had then come across the lightning process. It helped her get her life back, and then she became a practitioner of the lightning process. So I did this lightning process, and that was good. Things started to shift, right? She explained how the neural pathways happen in the brain and everything else. Again, talks around perfectionism, people pleasing, all of that sort of thing, how it links to feelings of anxiety and depression and how that affects your health, and all of these perceived threats that you have, that your system is always on. And they kind of teach you there's specific movements you have to do, specific things you have to say. And you've got to, every time these symptoms come up, or every time you find yourself in the pit, which is what they call it, you've got to do this little routine. To try and, instead of your body feeling pain and feeling tired, you have to, change your state in your body. But again, that was very it didn't go into why, it didn't go into the root cause. It was just another kind of like a Band-Aid fix for it. And it did work because, when you do it that many times, it's like Pavlov's dog. So if he hears the bell, then the dog will salivate even if the food isn't there. So it's the same thing as you train your body to, when that symptom arises, you shift your body's state so that naturally over many, many, many days of repetitions of this, when your body does feel those symptoms, you'll start to feel more relaxed, or whatever state you've done. So it gave me, it helped a lot. Another thing that helped as well is the long COVID clinic suggested that I have an iron infusion, even though my iron levels were normal. I don't know if no one can see me on the podcast, but I'm doing the quotation marks of my fingers. They were normal, but they wanted my ferritin level to be at least 100, and it was only 20. So I had an iron infusion. I had bad side effects to it though, and then I did another iron infusion a few months ago, and it gave me a big boost. It did feel better, but it's still not normal. So I started working with Chris and Philly I think we did the testing in December 2023, and then started in Jan. So I'm only 3 months into the 6 months. But yes, that's how I found Chris and Philly. But before I got long COVID, I had a series, in my life of, hitting a wall, like
Mhm.
just burning myself out, constantly pushing. Like my whole life has just been pushing, pushing, pushing. And until I worked with Chris and Philly, I didn't understand why I was pushing, like what was driving that behavior. It's not just your personality type. It's like, where does that come from? So this isn't something um, I've had other health issues where I've had like acne, I've had recurrent UTIs, I've had SIBO, I've had digestive things or things where I'm not feeling well, or iron deficiency that just won't budge no matter what type of iron supplement I took. So I've worked with nutritionists and many naturopaths, and homeopaths and stuff over the years. But yeah, never really getting to the root cause, really just kind of solving the symptoms in a natural way, but not understanding why those symptoms were there in the first place.
Yeah, so because you found us through an email, I did a little interview with Australian Traditional Medicine Society, and I can't remember the exact words, but you felt like there was a bit of divine intervention. Yeah?
Yes, I swear, like honestly, things have just come into my life at the perfect time, because like had I had that email when I wasn't in the right space to receive it, it just wouldn't have landed. But honestly, fate, like, because who opens all of their emails, especially when you have fatigue
Yeah.
and you're not doing any of that. I had opened this email and had watched this video that Philly had done about the practice and what she does, and I then watched like you guys did like a 3-day webinar thing where you went into all of the body systems and everything. And I was just like, these people have something that I have never come across in any of these things that I've done. And I have done everything.
So much.
And I was like, yeah, I need to speak to these guys. So that's how I found you.
Okay. Awesome. So love it. There's been many other clients too where it's just like, I never open that person's emails. It's usually through someone else's podcast. I never open X, Y, and Z's emails, but for some reason I did. And then I found you. So in our Ending Body Burnout method, we work on both the physical side of healing, but also the metaphysical side of healing to really get to like the deeper root cause. But we always start generally first with looking into the body systems that you just mentioned. So actually running some labs, looking at gut health, detox pathways, adrenals, neurotransmitters. Are you happy to share some of your findings when you did your lab test? Because usually people are really excited. It's like Christmas Day. Finally, I can see what's happening inside my body.
Yeah, for sure. So I did the organic acids test, and I also did the SIBO breath test. And because I had had SIBO in the past as well, the SIBO test came back as positive. Like the levels were actually really high.
Which surprised you too, hey? Because
it surprised me. I had
a
no
lot
symptoms,
of treatment.
and I had done a lot of symptoms for SIBO before. All of the low FODMAP diets and antimicrobials and dial phase and like everything. And yeah, it was back, even though I didn't have any of the symptoms. Well, not any of the obviously uncomfortable symptoms like the bloating and the not being able to eat certain things, because I can I eat all of the garlic and onion and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the organic acids test showed that my B vitamins were low, and also showed that I had low levels of serotonin. We also did the adrenal test, the saliva test. I think the question that I remember asking Philly was like, I need to do tests to figure out, like, I feel like I'm getting better, like I'm slowly starting to get my energy back. And I just want to, like, I don't want to push myself when I'm still running on an empty tank. So what's happening with my adrenals? And it showed, I think they were mostly in
Let me have a look.
Green section, like it was spiking in the morning on the high side.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, they were still working. It's not like they were completely flat.
Your results showed what I would call stage 1 adrenal fatigue.
Yeah.
Which didn't like really specifically match your level of fatigue. But it was showing that you weren't, so for the listeners, if it was stage 3 adrenal fatigue, which is where like, oh my gosh, cortisol, DHEA, flatlining, that often can really directly link to chronic fatigue, like real severe fatigue. When it's in the earlier stages, it can still impact your energy, but it's more around your body struggling to regulate its own ability to come down from stress, which puts you in a really fight-flight response, which is exhausting for the body.
Yeah. And I think the other test showed, there was serotonin, there were B vitamins.
Mitochondria.
Yeah, the mitochondrial retraction.
Yeah. Which is really common post a viral infection. Not for everyone. That's why actually running some tests to see what body systems have been affected by this infection and stuff that's happened in the past. But yeah, they're the little organelles that are converting food into energy. And so if they become damaged, you could be eating the best diet, most nutritious, calorie-dense diet, but you're not able to convert that into energy if those little mitochondria stores are depleted.
Yeah.
Why
was SIBO as well.
Yeah.
Like that's you're not gonna absorb any of those nutrients because they've damaged your intestine, the small intestine where you do absorb that. And then they need something to live off, right? So they're taking all your iron.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at your results now, actually. Detox pathways weren't doing so well either, which is really common post a viral infection because there's certain antioxidants like glutathione and acetylcysteine, which are amazing for killing off, getting rid of pathogens from the body. Now, you might have an infection and those stores get burnt up really quickly, which then causes detox pathways to break down. Or it might have been an issue even before the pathogen. And then it's like, we don't have anything to like fight this off. So let's just allow it to damage our cells because not allow it, but we don't have the power to fight back and bounce back in a healthy way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the testing was really good just to understand what was happening. And always test, don't guess. Like you don't want to be taking antimicrobials or any of that kind of like if anyone has done a SIBO diet before, you don't want to have to do that unless you have to do it.
Unless it's absolutely needed.
So that was good. Good to kind of get an understanding of what was happening and what I needed to do so I could take supplements, not willy-nilly, but was prescribed supplements that was specific to what I needed. Yes.
And when results come back, there's this, I'm going to break a myth, but a lot of people think that when they diagnose SIBO or leaky gut or detox issues or heavy metals that they're practicing or they're receiving root cause medicine.
No.
Which unfortunately, wouldn't that be easy if it's just like, just take this supplement and diet, you're going to be magically better.
And it might help for a little while.
Yeah.
Like that Band-Aid might hold for a while, but then it's going to fall off at some point.
Yeah. So in our Ending Body Burnout Method, like the tests and supporting those body systems, super important, but it's not where healing stops, or it's not where we get real long-lasting healing. So that's where we're getting deeper into not even just what you're eating or how you're moving your body, like all the lifestyle stuff, but really deep into what's happening in your unconscious mind and your nervous system that is driving thought patterns, behavioral patterns. And I liken it to the little tiger inside of you, that if there's something dysfunctional happening below the surface that you're not even aware of in your unconscious, it's like this chronic stressor that does not sleep. It's there 24/7. And the tiger is essentially unconscious core beliefs, dysfunctional ones that you have about yourself. So that process where we do the metaphysical side of healing for listeners is called Spark. Are you happy to share some of this? Because I feel like this is where the real magic started happening
Yes.
for you, like the
Yes.
real connecting with self, and essentially like where healing happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because like Philly and I, we're 3 months in now, and now I'm in a place after doing Spark. You have to heal what the root cause is that's driving all of these symptoms,
Yeah.
or driving behaviors that is driving the symptoms that you're experiencing, because there's no point in treating, like, we haven't done the SIBO protocol yet. We haven't done any of that yet. Like, we're getting there, but fixing that is not going to fix the problem.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's
talk about Spark.
Yeah, I actually really like how you chose to do that. So we started off with a little bit of brain support, which some of the supplements you didn't do so well with. So you've been doing very minimal physical healing and getting yourself to the point where, when you choose to start doing SIBO again, because you've done it in the past and it was a bit traumatic. It won't be this time because you're in so much better headspace and capacity to be able to do that. But you chose to go more slow and steady and really like dive into the deepest root, which I think is beautiful. And it will mean that when we get to those body system stuff, your body will just uptake anything that we put into your system. Like, yep, we can heal now. You're now able to heal.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's just dive in. Deepest root cause belief. What was the process for you to be able to start unpacking and looking deeper below the surface, especially in context to you had done a lot of brain rewiring, which we also do in the program. But before you even get to that, because it can be a management or Band-Aid tool, we really want to get to like the crux of what's actually causing your body to scream at you in the first place.
Yeah. So, and that was a thing that is different to anything else that I've done. Like the Gupta program and lightning process kind of shone a light on the fact that, being perfectionistic about things, or wanting to be a good person, or wanting to please other people, is something that is exhausting to kind of be in that state all the time. But where did those behaviors come from? And that is what Chris and Philly help. That's what the Spark process basically. It's a step-by-step process. It's so self-explanatory. It's all in this really helpful it's like an online course thing with an app on your phone as well, where you can just watch the videos and do the journaling work and the mental exercises and listen to the meditations and hypnosis things, and you just kind of work your way systematically through it with the guidance of doing the weekly group calls as well, the coaching calls. Through the process of discovering what the root cause was, it all goes back to a lot of the beliefs that you have about yourself are all formed before the age of 7. So it's in your childhood. And then once that belief is created, it plays out for the rest of, through everything. And once you understand what the root cause is, you literally see that you have been interpreting your entire life to make it mean the thing that you have made it mean about you. So for me, in my childhood, I don't know, probably around the age of 6. I remember this was what do we call it? Is it a significant defining moment? Defining moments in your childhood. And there were a few of them. And when you find the right one, it took me a while. I was like, do I have to find the moment? Like, can't I just, and it was like, no, trust me, your unconscious will reveal it to you when it is ready. It is hiding it from you for a good reason. It was the memory that I have is I was sitting at the dinner table, and I was full. I didn't want to eat the rest of my food. My parents, I think if I remember, they were fighting and they were arguing, and that got me really upset. And then I didn't want to eat my food, and my mom just lost it. And she shouted at me and was like, you will finish everything that's on that plate. Like, you will sit here until you are finished, because I have slaved over that meal. And I just, in that moment, I just felt so much shame and just so much hurt, and just so it was in that moment that I was like, I'm not normal. Like, I am not like other people. There's something wrong with me. Like, I'm less than other people. I'm not normal. There's something wrong with me because I can't finish my food. And after that, and when I went through this process, the way you will know that you have got to your root cause is because the emotions that I felt, it was like I was back there in that moment in time as a child, feeling this shame. I just was so emotional. I was just crying. I just like was sobbing so hard. My chest, it was like I was feeling all of the feelings that I never actually felt as a kid in that moment. And I had to let it out. Like, you can't suppress and bottle up those feelings. Like, you've got to just let them pass through. And then once you've identified what that root cause is and what that limiting belief is, there's then a process of apologizing to yourself. So you've labeled yourself as, say, imagine if you were a parent of a child and you said to that child, there's something wrong with you. You're not normal. You're less than everyone else. There's something not right with you. Your relationship with that child would be broken. Like, you would never say that to a child. You hopefully wouldn't say that to a friend either, or like your husband or wife. Like, you'd never say that to another person, but you've said it to yourself. And that causes a lot of hurt with yourself. Like, you've broken that relationship with yourself. And in order to heal that, you need to go through I don't know how many steps. I think there's 4 steps. There's
apology. Yeah.
There's an apology that you need to give yourself. And even giving yourself that apology where you explain why you made this mean this about yourself. And apologize, and also promise to yourself how you're going to make sure in the future that you're never going to agree, you're never going to do this to yourself again. Is for me, it was a very emotional process. Like, when I was writing out the apology, I just cried and cried and cried. And like, for a couple of days, it kind of felt like I had run a marathon. I kind of felt hungover. But you just need to go through that process, and your body kind of needs to feel all of that, and then you can heal from it. But that was getting in the way of my healing, because, well, my body can't heal. And of course I'm going to be sick and unwell because I'm not normal. I'm not like other people. I'm less than other people. So of course everyone else in the office got better when they had COVID, but I didn't. And it goes this, honestly, any point in life where you feel like you have been triggered, or something triggers you or irritates you or whatever, that is a sign for you to go, hang on a second. What am I making this mean about myself? Or how is this in some way evidence that's showing that I am not like other people? Or there's something wrong with me. And that is what was driving me needing to be a good kid. It was just like, be a good kid. Don't make your parents upset. Like, because if you do make your parents upset, then that's proof that there's something wrong with you, because you've done something wrong. So there's something wrong with you. Or if you don't get that promotion at work, it's proof that there's something wrong with you and you're less than other people. So you need to be more than other people. You need to win those awards.
What was the award that you won at work?
Oh my
goodness. Going over and above.
Yes. And you know what? I was so pissed off at this award, because over the years
when you received it, or when you realized the deepest root cause?
When I received the award, I was like, fuck, man. Like, sorry, I probably just dropped an F-bomb.
Sorry, children listening in the car.
Sorry. When I won the award, I was so upset with myself because I thought that I had done the work on myself. I had worked with coaches. I thought that I had done the work to no longer be like this person who pushed and went over and above for people. So when I won this award, I was like, I'm still doing it. I am still doing it. And I was really angry about the award. Like I didn't even want to, like it's got this trophy and my partner was like, babe, you should be proud of it and you should put it up and display it. And I didn't want to.
Oh, I didn't know that part of the story.
Yeah. So anyway.
Wow, what a mirror.
But, yeah. So yeah, I thought that I had put boundaries in place. And so again, all of these management techniques, right? I wasn't trusting myself, I was managing myself.
Yeah.
So eat really healthy, have boundaries at work, don't go to work early, don't work your lunch break, say no to things. But like that is so stressful, it's so rigid and so like, yeah.
Well, it's fighting against yourself as well. So
Exactly.
So until this deeper root cause, like for you, it was the not normal, less than is seen and then reprogrammed. You're constantly hiding, running away from it. Like that's where the management comes into it, where it's just like, yep, I'm going to force myself to do these things. But inside your nervous system is freaking out because it's actually not safe to try and not only to manage yourself, but it's not safe to put boundaries in place, for example.
Yeah.
When inside of you, there's this little girl stuck in the unconscious that is screaming, you're less than, you have to keep doing more and more and more and more. So even if your outside behavioral patterns might look a bit different than what it did, I don't know, after doing some coaching or something, your whole system it's like pushing that it's not safe button, alert, 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 which is essentially the whole time. And that's exhausting.
Never felt safe to be me. Like from the moment I woke up to when I'd go to sleep, it just wouldn't feel like I wasn't aware of what it was, but I knew that by doing things, so like waking up, unpacking the dishwasher, preparing your lunch for work, getting to the office, doing all of my work, like doing. I was addicted to doing because that's what soothed me. That made me feel better.
Yeah.
Because whenever I did something, I was like, proof that I'm enough. There's nothing wrong with me. In fact, look at how well I'm doing. I'm doing even better than anyone else. But you don't make that connection like until you've done the root cause work.
Yeah. So cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Because I know like, oh my gosh, it's like I'm talking through your body right now in terms of we had very similar root causes ish, but definitely in the way that it showed up, where it's like overachieving, addictive doing, perfectionism, go. Oh, even when you're on a holiday, you can't relax. Keep thinking about all the things you're going to create and do so you can prove that you're enough to the world.
Yeah.
Two things too I wanted to pull out of what you just said. So the less than not normal, if we go back to, because you've done a lot of things, and sometimes people can lose hope when they've worked with lots of practitioners, they've taken a lot of supplements, maybe even done some brain rewiring or like energetic work or something like that. I mean, you said it, but I want to just reiterate that if there's an unconscious core belief stuck in your system, and these deep root cause beliefs are literally in your cells, because your unconscious mind is your body. So every cell in your body, if that is what the deepest thing, if that is what you believe at the deepest part of you, then you could do all the lovely supplements and the diets and the meditations and the talking to yourself, like trying to change your thought patterns, but your unconscious mind will always win because it makes up 95% of you. So yeah, I think like that manifests in what you were talking about before. It's like, yeah, like I did feel a little bit better when I was doing the supplements. And yeah, there were some improvements when I was doing the brain rewiring. It's very slow, but you kind of just can only get to here rather than breaking through, because your unconscious state is always pulling you back.
Yeah.
To like, no, we can't do that because we're less than, we're different to other people. Oh yeah, listen to all those healing stories, but
Exactly.
pretend that you can get there, but really
Yes.
we know that you can't.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like, so when I first started doing the work, and all of working through the spark process, I had figured out what my root cause was. I'd kind of set the foundation for the reprogramming work, which is like the next section in Spark, which is what's it called again? The nervous system
Nervous
regulation.
system, 21-day rewire.
Yeah. So that's where you start to do the specific exercise. You get it's very hard. It's not something that you can explain. It's only something you can experience. So you kind of start the process, and at the beginning when I was kind of starting the rewire or the reprogramming of these beliefs, obviously the belief then that I want to have for myself, the story that I have rewritten for myself, is that I'm a wonderful, whole, normal human, just like everyone else, and there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
And when I say that now, every part of my body is just so happy and so soothed and
I've got
so aligned.
goosebumps. I'm feeling your energy right now. I've got goosebumps as you said that.
Whereas when I first started doing the work, I felt quite frustrated because I would say those words and everything in my body was like, no, we don't believe this. Like, we do not believe this. It's the same way, like, if you've ever done mirror work or affirmations where you have to say like, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Or you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, hello, you beautiful being. I hope you have a fantastic day. Like, it just doesn't feel right. Like you can feel in your gut, in your shoulders, in your neck, in your whole body just resists because it's like when someone gives you a compliment and they're like, oh wow, you're beautiful and you're glowing. And if you don't believe that you are, you kind of like are uncomfortable about the compliment that they've given you. Whereas if someone were to compliment you on your cooking, which you're really good at, like you love your food, and someone goes, you're a good cook, you'd be like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, and you kind of are like, oh, of course I
Yes.
am. There's not that resistance.
Yes.
But yeah, you've just got to trust the process, and it takes time. You've got to be patient. But I'm only 3 months in, and I've gotten to the point of this rewiring where it just, I have started, the reprogramming is working, and I am believing that. And the way that I knew, like I woke up yesterday morning and I woke up feeling so calm, and just my whole body just felt really settled. And I truly, truly felt like, to my core, like in every fiber of my being, I just felt so light, and everything just felt easy. And because now I truly do know and believe that I am a wonderful, whole, normal person.
Yeah.
And whereas before, I would wake up in the morning feeling like on edge and rushed, like just, and overwhelmed and just irritated by everything. Like, oh my God, I have to shower, and oh, I have to, do the hair and the makeup and what am I going to have for breakfast? And everything just felt like, it just felt so uneasy. But once you do the work, you will get there, I promise. And for anyone who's still on this process with Chris and Philly, who hasn't quite got there yet, just like keep at it, because yes, I've been doing it with Chris and Philly for a few months, and I've really leaned into it. But I've also been doing, the soul searching before then as well. So, but yeah, it's amazing, like that communication with your unconscious is everything. And everything is kind of just settled. Like so many of my symptoms have gone away. My energy has been better than it's ever been. Like I used to not be able to make it through a day without needing to sleep in the middle of the day and take lots of rests.
Yeah.
Whereas for the first time in the last 2 weeks, for the first time in like over a year and a half, I made it through a whole day on a few days without having to lie down in the middle of the day.
So
And
cool.
and I was going out, like I went out and I walked around a whole art gallery. Like that just wouldn't have been possible. Like it just, and drinking coffee. Like I can drink
Oh,
coffee and it's fine. My body
yeah.
doesn't get all jittery and all,
Mm,
wired. And then I
mm,
slept great. Slept great that night, even though I'd had coffee, like, I don't know, in the middle of the
mm,
day. So yeah, just please, anyone else out there who has any kind of health issue, whether
mm,
it's long COVID or something else, just don't give up. Like, don't
mm.
give up hope.
So
Yeah.
good. I'm getting all teary and goosebumpy.
And
It's
Chris and
just,
Philly can't do this work for you. They can show you how to do
yeah.
it because they don't. This again, I think this is where a lot of people go wrong with the healing is they're like,
Mm,
I want this doctor to fix me. I want this supplement to fix me. I want
mhm,
this kinesiology session to fix me, or this remedial massage or acupuncture, or Chris and Philly, they're coaches and they're
mm,
nutritionists and they will fix me.
mm.
If that is your mindset, you're not going to get better because
Yeah.
you are the only person who can fix yourself with the right guidance, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we talk about right at the very start when you start working through the spark process as well, is that no victims here. I mean, it's okay if you're showing up as a victim at the moment,
Yeah.
but we're not going to rescue you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know Chris definitely says this. Sometimes I do too to clients or new ones, or maybe ones that are even like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Prove to me that it's going to work. I'm like,
Mm,
I am not taking responsibility for your healing. I am here
yeah.
to guide you. I am here to serve you wholeheartedly, but I'm actually not the expert here. You are.
Yeah.
And so therefore, like the responsibility is on you.
Mm,
And I also don't need you to get great results for me to feel good about myself,
yeah.
which is what can sometimes happen, like in a practitioner doctor patient relationship where the practitioner's like, I need you to get great results so I can feel like I'm a good human being and like I'm good at
Mm,
this. And then it never works because it takes away that person's power. So that's awesome.
exactly.
So cool
Like
that you shared that.
you have all of the art, like you might not know this yet, but when you do the work and you go through the process and you trust it, things just fall into place and the
Mm,
answers just come. Like
mm,
I had this crazy like dream the one morning. I remember I emailed Chris and Philly. Like this was just a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, my subconscious has blessed me with a whole flurry of new insights. And it felt overwhelming.
mm.
And I felt emotional. I was crying, but it was a good kind of cry. It was like a release and a realization, and the puzzle pieces just kind of coming together and being like, okay. So
Yes.
things just unfold, things just are revealed to you in the timing that is right. Like you just have to trust yourself. The answers will
Mm.
come to you. You'll know what you need to do.
I'm thinking back when we had a group coaching session on force, not flow. Oh, sorry, flow, not force, or flow. And so many people, that was at the very start of the new intake of clients and doors open last time. And so many clients are like, what? What even is flow? I can't even like wrap my head around how you can feel like you're in flow and
I
you're
was that
being.
client.
There were quite a few other people too. And now you're like, oh, I know what flow is now. But it's
I
just
know.
like for someone who has been living in perfectionism, overdoing, overwhelmed patterns for so long, it is just this foreign, it doesn't even feel like it's possible, but it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And for the longest time, like I remember doing that section and being on the group call and searching about, being versus doing and flow versus force, and trying to force myself to get what flow means. But yeah, it will just click. You will realize, and you only know when you experience it, and it will just happen. You just have to trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust me, if I can find flow, anyone can.
So funny. Oh, thank you so much. I think what you've just shared is the epitome of you are now healing and seeing some amazing results because you deeply love and trust yourself. Like that is the healing. If anyone wants a secret, like magic bullet, that is where it is.
100%. Like that is it, because your whole system just settles down, and when it's safe, your body doesn't need to protect you anymore with feelings and sensations and symptoms. And, when it trusts you to make the right choices for your body, and when you trust yourself and you know that you can make those choices for yourself and your life and your body, everything just falls into place. Like that trust, that relationship is just there. And that's when the healing can start. Like, yeah.
It just does. It might sound like impossible or fairy tale, but it works.
It does work.
Well, thank you so much for so generously sharing all of this. I know so many people are going to resonate to so many different parts of this conversation, whether it's chronic fatigue, long haul COVID, perfectionism, feeling like you're like this all the time. And I know that it's going to give so many people a lot of hope that it's possible. And I'm so excited to see where you go. Like
Me
even
too.
even in the next 3 months, but I'm like a year down the track. I'm just so excited what you're going to do with your life.
Yeah. I feel so free and just so at ease. And yeah, like didn't even realize what kind of anxiety I was walking around feeling every day until it was gone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, is this how most people feel? But I don't think it is. I know that there are a lot of people who don't feel like this. But it's possible. And I was the biggest skeptic. Trust me. But I was just so desperate to try anything. I was like, I'm committed to this. I'm committed and I'm open to it. And I'm so grateful for this whole process, because it's given me the rest of my life back. Like the quality of my life now versus what it was before. It's just so different.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You fill my cup up every time I talk to you. So I'm so grateful to have you in my world.
Thanks, Billy. The feeling is mutual. I love getting to spend time with you guys and talk about things and just everything.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much to our listeners too for tuning in, and I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.